Hi, hello, welcome back to our channel Chemistry with RK. Today I have come up with a problem session on oxidation number. If you are new to the concept, so please do watch my previous video related to oxidation numbers. I will be giving the link in the description. So please do watch it so that this particular lecture, this particular session will be very interesting. So in that video I have discussed about all the rules to calculate the oxidation number of any element in a given molecule. So we know that to find out the oxidation number for any element in a given molecule, we must know the oxidation numbers of the remaining elements. So my request to everyone, so please if you are new to the channel, so please I request you to subscribe and then please click on the bell icon to get the regular updates. I'll be coming up with different topics which are related or which are very important, which are very interesting for our IIT JEE preparation and also NEET preparation. So please I request you to support my channel. So I would like to thank my viewers, friends and my students, those who are in the part of my journey. Thank you, and then let's start our session with full josh. Yeah, let's start with the first question. So I gave calculate the oxidation number of nitrogen in the below compounds. So if you start with the first one, so since it is a homonuclear diatomic molecule, as I told you in my previous lecture, for any such type of homonuclear molecules, the oxidation number will be is equals to 0. So I am just giving the solutions here. So for the first one in N2 molecule, so for nitrogen, the oxidation number. So we have two nitrogens. For each nitrogen, we have to take it as X. So X is going to be is equals to 0. So that is the simplest one. And then the next one, second one, if we move to HNO2, it is called as nitrous acid. So in nitrous acid, the oxidation number of nitrogen, how to calculate? That is 1 into 1 for hydrogen, and then 1 into X for nitrogen, and then 2 into for each oxygen, we know it is minus 2. So finally we are going to get 1 plus X minus 4 is equals to 0. X is going to come out as plus 3. So oxidation number of nitrogen in HNO2 is plus 3. And then moving to the third one, that is NH3, ammonia. So in ammonia, for nitrogen we have to take it as X, and then we have to take for 3 hydrogens, it is plus 1 is equals to 0, and then X plus 3 is equals to 0, then X value is going to come out as minus 3. So I hope you know how to calculate. So please, I have taken so many examples in my previous lecture, so please try to observe that. And then next let us move to the fourth one, that is HNO3, nitric acid. Nitric acid. So in that hydrogen we take plus 1, and then for nitrogen we take X, and then for each oxygen it is minus 2 is equals to 0, and then X plus 1 minus 6 equal to 0. X is going to come out as plus 5. So the oxidation number of nitrogen in HNO3 is plus 5. Hope you understood. And then please, if you have any queries, so please do comment in the comment section. I will try to reply as soon as possible. Okay. And then the next one is fifth one. Let us move to N3H. N3H, the compound is called as hydrozoic acid. The compound is hydrozoic acid. Yes. And then next, if we want to calculate the oxidation number of nitrogen, that is 3 into X plus 1 into plus 1 is equals to 0. So 3x plus 1 is equals to 0. X is going to come out as minus 1 by 3. So, based upon this particular question, this particular molecule, we have been getting a question continuously in different competitive exams asking like, which of the following molecule gives the fractional oxidation number for nitrogen? So if in the option if we have N3H, that must be the answer. Okay. So N3H in N3H molecule हमको fractional oxidation number मिलेगा, that is minus 1 by 3. And then the next one, let us move to that is sixth one, N2H4, and this compound is called as hydrazine. And the importance of this particular compound, we use this compound in the organic chemistry in converting carbonyl compounds into alkanes especially, which is called as Wolff-Kishner reduction. So we use this hydrazine in the Wolff-Kishner reduction in reducing carbonyl compounds. They are aldehydes and ketones into alkanes. Okay, let us calculate it. That is 2 into x plus 4 into minus 1 is equals to 0. 2x minus 4 is equals to 0. Then x is equals to, we get it as plus 2. And then next let us move to the seventh one, that is NO. NO, which is called as nitric oxide. NO is called as nitric oxide. So in this the oxidation number of nitrogen is taken as x, and then for each oxygen minus 2. So x minus 2 is equals to 0, then x is equals to plus 2. Yeah. Okay, please try to copy this. Okay, let's move on to the eighth one. The next one is we have nitrogen dioxide. That is nitrogen's oxidation number we need to calculate. That is 1 into x plus 2 into minus 2 is equals to 0. So x minus 4 is equals to 0, then x is equals to plus 4. So the oxidation number of nitrogen in nitrogen dioxide is plus 4. Next, moving to the next one, that is nitrate ion. They gave nitrate ion. In that nitrate ion we need to calculate the oxidation number of nitrogen. So that is 1 into x plus 3 into minus 2 is equals to the overall charge need to be taken on the right side, that is minus 1. X minus 6 equal to minus 1. So x is equals to plus 5. So the oxidation number is plus 5 in this. And then next, moving to the next one, that is nitrogen tetroxide, dinitrogen tetroxide, that is N2O4. So we need to take 2 into x and then 4 into minus 2, which is equals to 0 since it is a neutral molecule. So 2x minus 8 is equals to 0. Then x is equals to come out as plus 4. And then moving to the next one, that is N2O5, that is called as nitrogen pentoxide. 2 into x plus 5 into minus 2 is equals to 0. 2x minus 10 is equals to 0. Then x is equals to plus 5. And then moving to the last one, that is the HNO4. The compound name is pernitric acid. Pernitric acid. So if we generally calculate with our normal method, that is 1 into plus 1 for hydrogen, and then 1 into x plus 4 into minus 2 is equals to 0. 1 plus x minus 8 is equals to 0. Then x is equals to plus 7. We are going to get x equal to plus 7, but which is not possible for nitrogen. We know that nitrogen's group number is 50A, so the maximum oxidation number must be plus 5. So any element cannot go beyond its group number in terms of its oxidation number. So in this case, we have got plus 7, which is not possible for nitrogen. In that case, I told you already in the previous video, in this type of cases, we can go with directly, so this is not the possible oxidation number, then the possible oxidation number must be plus 5. And now, how or why, how we can explain this, okay? So in this case, we need to take two oxygens as the peroxy oxygens, I told you already. So by taking the peroxy oxygens for one hydrogen, 1 into plus 1, for one nitrogen it is 1 into x, plus for two oxygens normal oxidation number, that is minus 2, and for two oxygens it is peroxy, so minus 1. And then if we calculate 1 plus x minus 4 minus 2 is equals to 0, and then 1 plus x minus 6 equal to 0, then x equal to coming out as plus 5. So this is the right oxidation number, and if we try to observe the structure for this HNO4, generally nitrogen is the central atom here, so it will obviously have a double bond O, and then there is a dative bond O, and then there is a OOH. So this is the structure of pernitric acid. So it will have two peroxy oxygens. So these are called as peroxy bonds. So these two oxygens have minus 1 and the remaining two oxygens have minus 2. So that is why it is going to give us plus 5. So okay, next let's move on to the second question, that is calculate the oxidation number of sulfur in the below compounds. So they have given few compounds. So let's calculate the first one, that is oxidation number of sulfur in just a neutral atom, that is neutral sulfur. So it is going to be 0. Hope it is clear. And then next, moving to the next S8. So I am discussing this S8 molecule. Actually it is called as rhombic sulfur. The name is called as rhombic sulfur, and this particularly has a structure called as crown shape, or it is also called as puckered ring structure. Puckered ring structure. So let us see its structure once. If you look at the group number of sulfur, it is present in 68. So it has 6 valence electrons. So it requires 2 more. So its general valency could be 2. So it means that sulfur can generally form 2 bonds. So in the formation of S8, so it has a crown shape. That is, if you just look at the structure, so it will look like, this. So observe carefully. So this looks like a crown shape. That is, So if you look at this, so this is going to give us a crown shape. If you try to keep it on your head, so it looks like a that crown, is it right? So now this is called as puckered ring structure or crown shaped structure. And now if you look at, actually there is a common question which we expect from this S8 molecule in terms of competitive exam is, that is the oxidation number of sulfur and the covalency of sulfur in S8 molecule. This is a very famous question based upon this particular molecule. That is, what is the covalency? If you look at any of these sulfurs, they are going to form 2 bonds. So the covalency of sulfur is going to be 2, and the oxidation number, since it is a homonuclear molecule, the oxidation number we can say directly it is 0. Hope it is clear. And on each sulfur we are going to have 2 lone pairs. If I am not wrong, yes, according to the concept of electronic configuration, we can able to say, so on each sulfur we can have 2 particular lone pairs. Okay, so this is what the structure of S8. Let's continue with the third one. That is the oxidation number of sulfur in SO2. So it is 1 into X plus 2 into minus 2 is equals to 0. Then X minus 4 equal to 0. The next value is going to come out as plus 4. And then next, if we move to SO3, that is sulfur trioxide. So similar to this, that is 1 into X plus 3 into minus 2 is equals to 0. X minus 6 equal to 0. Then X is coming out as plus 6. And then next we have sulfur hexafluoride, that is SF6. So that is 1 into X plus 6 into minus 1 for each fluorine, that is equals to 0. X minus 6 equal to 0, and then X equal to plus 6 again. And then next let's move to S2O3 minus 2. That is called as thiosulfate ion. Thiosulfate ion, sulfur's oxidation number 2 into X plus 3 into minus 2 is equals to minus 2 whole charge, and then 2X minus 6 equal to minus 2, then 2X is equals to 4, and then X value is going to come out as plus 2. So the oxidation number of sulfur in S2O3 minus 2 is plus 2. And then next we have, that is S2Cl2, that is disulfur monochloride. Okay, so it is sulfur's oxidation number is 2 into X plus 2 into minus 1 equal to 0, that is 2X minus 2 equal to 0. X value is going to come out as plus 1. And then similarly the next one is SO3 minus 2 sulfite ion. So 1 into X plus 3 into minus 2 is equal to minus 2. So X minus 6 equal to minus 2. So the X value is going to come out as plus 4. Okay, and then let's move to the next one, that is sulfate, SO4 minus 2 sulfate. So 1 into X plus 4 oxygens for each oxygen minus 2 is equals to whole charge minus 2. So X minus 8 equal to minus 2. So X value will come out as plus 6. Okay, and then next let's move to S2O4 minus 2. S2O4 minus 2. Okay. So if you see 2 into X plus 4 into minus 2 is equal to minus 2. 2X minus 8 equal to minus 2. Then 2X equal to 6. Then X value will come out as X equal to plus 3. Okay, so I hope you understood almost for every species we are following the same method. Yeah, let's move to the third question. So this is actually a previous JEE mains question. So what they have given is, they have given four chemical species and they are asking us to arrange them in the increasing order of their oxidation numbers. So what we need to do is, first we need to calculate the oxidation numbers of all the central atoms individually, and then we need to predict the order. Okay, so let us take the first one, that is CrO2 minus. So chromium is the central atom, so 1 into X plus 2 into minus 2, which is equals to 1. So X minus 4 is equals to minus 1. So X is going to be plus 3. Okay, and then similarly we have ClO3 minus, which is chlorate ion. So that is 1 into X plus 3 into minus 2 is equal to minus 1. So X minus 6 equal to minus 1. So X value is going to come out as plus 5. And then similarly let us take the third one, that is chromate ion, CrO4 minus 2. So again 1 into X plus 4 into minus 2 is equal to minus 2. And then X minus 8 equal to minus 2. So X value is going to come out as plus 6. Okay. And then similarly let us take the permanganate ion, that is MnO4 minus. Manganese is the central atom. So 1 into X plus 4 into minus 2 is equal to minus 1. X minus 8 equal to minus 1, then X value is going to come out as plus 7. So if you observe carefully, so that is CrO2 minus is having least and then next followed by this. So order will come out as, okay, so if you observe carefully, this is CrO2 minus less than ClO3 minus less than CrO4 minus 2 and then MnO4 minus. Hope it is clear. And now please try to identify where do you see this particular order. So if you see the second option, that is the same order it is representing, and obviously the option B is correct. Just to give you some additional information, just I have just reversed the order and then gave you this particular order also. If you observe carefully, option B and option D are same, just I have taken the options front and back, that's it. You please observe. So for this particular question, then we can take even option 4 also same. But generally mains exam we don't have multi-correct options. So for JEE mains we will be given only one option correct. But for just to give you some additional information, I have taken these particular two options wantedly. So this is what this type of questions will be asked in the JEE question and then JEE exam and then NEET exam. So I hope it is clear. Yeah. Next, these are the fourth and fifth questions. I am giving it for your homework. So you please try to solve these and then try to comment the answers in the comment section. So I'll obviously give you reply for these two questions. So please you try to take the screenshots, and then for question number 4, you just, if your answer is suppose let's say for question number 4, if you get answer option number A, so you please comment question number 4A, and then for question number 5 if you get option B, then you just type question number 5B. Okay, so I'll obviously look at those comments and then I'll give you the reply. Okay, please try to take the screenshot of this. Okay, next let's move to the some special cases in oxidation numbers. So like here we need to calculate the oxidation numbers for the underlined elements. So if you see the first one, that is Fe3O4. So normally how do we calculate the oxidation number? So that is we need to find out oxidation number for iron. So that is 3 into X plus 4 into minus 2 is equals to 0. Then X value of X we are going to get it as plus 8 by 3. So this is actually for 3 irons. We have 3 iron atoms in this, iron elements in this. So for 3 iron elements, the average oxidation number is coming out as plus 8 by 3. But if you see, this is actually called as a mixed oxide. Why it is called as a mixed oxide? What do you mean by a mixed oxide? An oxide in which we have two simple oxides. So if you see this Fe3O4 has FeO and Fe2O3. Actually this is ferrous oxide, this is ferric oxide. So if you observe the oxidation number of iron in this ferrous oxide, it will be coming out as +2, and then in this ferric oxide it will be coming out as +3. Normal oxidation number method only. So if you try to take the average oxidation number, for one iron it is +2, for one iron it is +3, for two irons it is +6. +6 plus +2 +8 by 3 iron atoms we have. Total together we are going to get it as 8 by 3. So sir, what is that? So if we have been given this Fe3O4 and then if they ask us to calculate the oxidation number, then what we need to go with? So we have to go with +8 by 3 only. So that is the average oxidation number. So even we can expect the oxidation numbers of the iron atoms in Fe3O4 are. So in multi-correct answer, they can give options as +2 and +3. So in Fe3O4, we can even have +2 for one particular iron and then +3 for another particular iron. So these are also the possible oxidation numbers for Fe in Fe3O4. Similarly, if we move with this Pb3O4, so normal oxidation number method will give us the same, that is 8 by 3. So plus 8 by 3 will be the average oxidation number. Similarly, like Fe3O4, this is also a mixed oxide where this Pb3O4 is going to have two different oxides. They are PbO and then PbO2. So which is called as plumbous oxide. This is plumbic oxide. So we are going to have plumbous and plumbic. And now if you see the oxidation number of lead in this particular plumbous oxide, so it is going to come out as +2. Okay, the oxidation number of lead will be coming out as +2. And then similarly in this plumbic oxide it will be coming out as +4. So this is the general average oxidation number, and then when it comes to the individual lead oxidation number, so +2 and +4 are also possible. And next we have CuFeS2, which is called as copper pyrite. And actually this is the empirical formula. Actually the formula of this CuFeS2 will be in the Cu2Fe2S4. And then in this particular compound we have Cu2S and then Fe2S3. Okay, so these are actually the compound CuFeS2 has these two units, and in this the copper oxidation number we generally calculate as, and then we get +1, and then iron's oxidation number we are going to get it as +3. And if we particularly want the copper's oxidation number, we have to go with +1. If we want the iron's oxidation number, we have to go with +4. And now if we want the average oxidation number, it is going to be, that is +1 plus +3, that is +4 by 2 atoms we have. That is going to be the average oxidation number is going to come out as +2. Okay, so here the average oxidation number is +8 by 3, average oxidation number is +8 by 3, and then here it is +2. Individually +1 and +3, please take care of that. And then iodine's oxidation number in this will be 4 into x plus 9 into -2 is equals to 0. X is going to come out as +9 by 2. So that is the average oxidation number again for the entire molecule. But again this particular I4O9 will have but actually it is a salt of I+3 ion, and then we have IO3 minus ion. So we have 3 IO3 minus ions. So total together the charge will be balanced. Okay, so -3 charge here and then +3 charge here. So all together we are going to get I3O9, I4O9. And now individually the oxidation number of iodine will be, in this will be +3, and then if we calculate we are going to get here it is +5. So for each iodine it is +3, for each iodine it is +5. Since we have 3 iodines, it is going to be +15. +15 +3 +18. +18 by total number of iodines we have 4. So +18 by 4, it is going to come out as 9 by 2. So this is the average oxidation number, and these are the possible individual iodine's oxidation number. Hope it is clear. The question will be asked clearly, that is if they generally ask the oxidation number of iodine, then we have to go with the average oxidation number. If they ask what are the possible oxidation numbers of iodine in I4O9? Then the possible oxidation numbers is +3, +5 and even +9/2 is also possible. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So we need to calculate the oxidation numbers individually in these four compounds. Okay, so if you look at this first one, that is H4P2O5. So phosphorus oxidation number, so general method only. So that is 4 into +1 for each hydrogen, and then 2 into X plus 5 into -2 is equals to 0. Option A. I'm solving option A. So what is that? 4 plus 2x minus 10 is equals to 0, and then the x value we are going to get is, so 2x that is -6, it equals to +6, so x is going to come out as +3. So the oxidation number of phosphorus is +3. Option B, if you try to solve the same. Okay, so the only difference is one oxygen more. One oxygen more, obviously it is going to give us +4. I hope you understood. So that is 4 into +1 plus 2 into x plus 6 into -2 is equals to 0. 4 plus 2x minus 12 equal to 0. 2x is equals to 8, and then x is going to come out as +4. And then option 3, if you look at this, so just you can easily guess here. So H4P2O5 +3, H4P2O6 +4, and then one oxygen is more, so it is going to give us +5 here. So it is +3 here, and then +4, and then +5, and then if you look at this, so this is, so how to do this? 1 into x, that is 4 into -2 is equals to -3. So 4 into -2, it is -8, so that is equals to -3. So P, the phosphorus oxidation number, is going to come out as +5. Hope you understood. And then next up, moving to the next question. This is a easy one. This is also a previous IIT question. So if you just look at the question, that is A, B, C are three elements forming a compound, and then in that compound the oxidation numbers of A, B, C are given +2, +5, -2. And then what could be the possible compound actually? So what is the logic we need to follow to solve this question actually? So when we have the oxidation numbers of all the elements in our compound, so what we know that I gave you a particular point, that is the sum of oxidation numbers of all the elements in a molecule or a compound is equals to 0. So if you look at this, A oxidation number they have given +2, B oxidation number +5, C oxidation number -2. And now if you apply these three oxidation numbers to these options, so if you observe the first option, that is 2A, so A2 we have. A2 means 2 into +2, this is going to give us +4. So +4, and then B2 we have. So 2 into 2, that is +5 into 2, so it is going to give +10. And then C2 we have. So C2 means nothing but -2 into -2, so that is going to give us +10. So this is not the option. So this is not the compound. If you look at the second option, so 2 into +2, that is +4, and then we have 3 B's, which is nothing but +5 into 3, so it is going to give you +15. And then how many carbons we have? So not carbon actually. Yeah, how many C we have? 12 C. So 12 into -2, that is -24. If you look at this, -24 and this is +19, so this is still going to have -5. So this is not the option. And then moving to this one, so it is 3 into +2, that is going to be +6. And then we have 2 B's, which is nothing but 5 into 2, that is +10. And then we have 8 C elements we have, C atoms. So for each we have -2. So 8 into -2, that is -16. And if you look at this +6, +10, +16, and then -16, this is going to be 0, and obviously this is our option. Hope you understood. So this is the very important type of model we can expect from this oxidation number method. Next, let's move on to the next question. So which of the following elements shows highest oxidation number in their combined state? So if you look at the options, osmium, ruthenium and xenon. So if you look at this, actually osmium can able to show +8 oxidation number, ruthenium can able to show +8 oxidation number, and then even xenon can also show +8 oxidation number when they combine with the oxygens. So osmium will combine with 4 oxygens, that is called as osmium tetroxide. Ruthenium can combine with 4 oxygens to give ruthenium tetroxide, and then xenon can also combine with 4 oxygens to give xenon tetroxide. So in these three particular compounds, these three elements are going to show +8 oxidation number, which is very important. So in the whole periodic table, these are the elements which shows the maximum oxidation number, that is +8. Okay, next move on to the next question, that is oxidation number of iron in brown ring complex. This is one of the very favorite questions in this chapter. So that is iron oxidation number in brown ring complex. Actually, what is actually a brown ring complex? So brown ring complex is nothing but FeH2O taken 5, and then there is NO, and which is combined with SO4. And actually this is a complex which is used in the determination or identification of nitrate ions. That will be coming in our qualitative analysis, identification of anions. Okay, so this particular complex, brown ring complex, is used in the identification of nitrate ions also. And now they have asked us to calculate the oxidation number of iron. So how do we calculate? I told you know how to calculate oxidation number even for complex compounds in my previous video. So please do watch that. And then how to calculate, normal method only. Okay, 1 into x, and then since water is a neutral ligand, there is no contribution of oxidation number from the water. And then there is NO. Actually NO can behave as 2. It can behave as neutral ligand, it can behave as a positive ligand as well. In brown ring complex, this NO is going to behave as a positive ligand, which is going to contribute +1 oxidation number. There is one sulfate which is going to take, SO4, we know that sulfate has -2 charge. So that is X plus 0 plus 1 minus 2 is equals to 0. X minus 1 is equals to 0. X is going to come out as +1. This is going to be very interesting. So that is iron shows +1 oxidation number in brown ring complex. That is very important, which is not possible in other cases. Only in brown ring complex iron can exhibit +1 oxidation state, and here this NO is going to behave as a positive ligand, not a neutral ligand. So hence it is called as nitrosonium. So NO, when it is acting as a positive ligand, it is going to called as nitrosonium. So its oxidation number is going to come out as +1. And then moving to the next one, that is oxidation number of mercury in Nessler's reagent. Actually, what is Nessler's reagent? K2HgI4. So this is called as Nessler's reagent. And now this particular, we need to calculate the oxidation number of mercury. That is 2 into +1. That is 1 into X plus 4 iodines we have. For each iodine it is -1. 2 plus X minus 4 is equals to 0. X minus 2 is equals to 0. X is going to be +2. So this is about the oxidation number calculation in the, we have so many important complexes like Wilkinson catalyst we have. So what is Wilkinson catalyst? Okay, so that is rhodium triphenyl phosphine. Okay, so triphenyl phosphine rhodium chloride. So actually this is called as Wilkinson catalyst, where PPH3, that is triphenyl phosphine, we call this as triphenyl phosphine. So we have 3 such type of triphenyl phosphine molecules, but here PPH3, that is triphenyl phosphine molecule, is also a neutral ligand. So there is no contribution of oxidation number from the part on behalf of this triphenyl phosphine, whereas the chlorine will be taking -1. So overall the oxidation number of rhodium here we are going to get is 1 into X plus 3 into 0 plus 1 into -1 is equals to 0. X is going to come out as +1. So this is called as Wilkinson catalyst, this is called as Nessler's reagent, this is called as brown ring complex. We have so many complex compounds. Okay, so we can able to calculate the oxidation numbers of those metals in those complex compounds also. Okay, next let's move on to the next question. So find the oxidation number for the underlying elements. So these are the special examples I have selected. So there are so many among these compounds, there are so many times they have asked for competitive exams. So let us start with K3CrO8. So if you look at this, the first one, that is K3 CrO8. Okay, and now normally if we calculate the oxidation number of chromium, so how much we are going to get? So that is 3 into plus 1 and 8 into it is minus 2. 8 into minus 2 minus 16, and then minus 16, and then there is plus 3. So it is going to give us plus 13, which is not at all possible. So chromium group number is actually 6b group. It is present in D block 6b. So but here it is giving us plus 13, which is not possible. So in that case, what we need to do, what we need to guess? So we need to guess the peroxy bonds. Let me just try to draw the structure. That is, chromium will have all the 8 oxygens with the peroxy linkages. So if you look at this, yeah. And now if you look at this, what is the oxidation number of oxygen here? That is, all of them are peroxy oxygens. So we know that for each oxygen the oxidation number need to be taken as minus 1. So if you just look at this, 3 into plus 1 plus 1 into x plus 8 into minus 1 is equals to 0. So 3 plus x minus 8 is equals to 0. X minus 5 is equals to 0, and then the oxidation number of chromium in this K3CrO8 is going to be plus 5. It's very important. Okay, and then moving to the next one, that is H2SO5. This I have taken in my previous video lecture. That is, it is called as Carros acid or peroxymonosulfuric acid, here where 2 oxygens will be there. If you just try to calculate normal oxidation number method, you are going to get plus 8. 2 into plus 1 plus 5 into minus 2 minus 10 plus 2 minus 8 equal to, if you bring on to the other side, then we will get plus 8, which is not possible. For sulfur, the maximum oxidation number is plus 6. So now how it is going to be? So sulfur will have 2 double bonded oxygens with OOH, and then there will be one more OH. So where these 2 oxygens are peroxy oxygens, need to be taken minus 1 and minus 1. So overall you are going to get x is equals to plus 6 by taking this minus 1. And then moving to the third one, that is H2 PO5, H2, so H3PO5. So which is called as peroxymonophosphoric acid, which is nothing but, again, if you calculate the oxidation number of phosphorus, it is going to give us plus 7. Which is not possible because the phosphorus group number is 58. The maximum oxidation number is plus 5. So in such case, we can expect a peroxy bond. Yes, we can expect a peroxy bond, which is going to be, so we will have OH, and then we will have OO and H. Okay. So this is the structure again. These 2 oxygens are peroxy oxygens, which are taken as minus 1, for the rest of the 3 oxygens minus 2. So overall we are going to get x is equals to plus 5. Hope you are understanding. Okay, and then the next one, that is H2S2O8, which is called as Marshall's acid or peroxy disulfuric acid. In this also sulfur's oxidation number we are going to get as plus 7. But which is again not possible. So here we can expect again the same, that is peroxy bond, that is going to be, okay. So this is actually the structure of H2S2O8 Marshall's acid, where these 2 oxygens are peroxy oxygens. Among these 8 oxygens, 6 oxygens are normal oxygens, need to be taken minus 2, and then 2 oxygens are peroxy oxygens, need to be taken minus 1. And then finally we are going to get the x value as plus 6 again. Okay, and then next if you move to the E, that is H2TiO4. This is called as pertitanic acid. Pertitanic acid, very famous. That is, again, if you calculate the normal oxidation number method, it is going to, the oxidation number of titanium is going to come out as plus 6. But the group number of titanium is 4b. So, plus 6 is not possible. And then we can expect a peroxy bond. Just have a look here. So that is, titanium will have a double bond O with OH, and then there is one more OOH. And now for these 2 particular oxygens, minus 1 and minus 1, these 2 will be taken minus 2, and then these are taken plus 1, we know that. So finally we are going to get the oxidation number is plus 4. And then the other one, that is Fe0.96O, where we need to calculate the oxidation number of iron. So we know that is 0.96 times of X, because we don't have one iron here. We have 0.96 plus 1 into minus 2 is equals to 0, and then X is going to come out as 200 divided by 96. The oxidation number of iron is 200 divided by 96. That is also possible. As we know, oxidation number could be positive, negative, 0, and then even fractions also possible. Yes, so this is all about the problem session on oxidation numbers. Hope you liked it, and then please, if you are new to the channel or if you like my videos, please do subscribe, and then don't forget to click on the bell icon. And I want your continuous support. As per as I can see, you are all supporting already, and then please share my channel to your friends, and then the students, those who are preparing for IIT and NEET. Thank you so much. See you soon with the next video on oxidation reduction concept.